Alrighty, friends. Hopefully you can hear me, and hopefully you can see 6 of these Greek and Latin root words. I'm doing this a little differently than normal. Just wanted to try something new, so I apologize if that makes it a little harder, but I figured that at least with this, I can screen record my screen while I'm talking, and then we can go over the words together. So we have 6 words this week. And these are just the Greek and Latin roots, okay? So we have Aqua, Hydr, Terr, Luna, Astr, Stell. And so these are just small parts of words. Some of them you might know as real words, and that is because these are Greek and Latin roots, and a lot of languages interconnect. But I chose these Greek and Latin roots to put together because they either have to do with the water, the land, or the sky and the stars or the moon. So I thought that was a nice tier of, a nice grouping to put these together. So I'm going to zoom in to our first one. And our first word is aqua. So if you are at all familiar with Spanish, and I think even this word is used for what it means, but aqua means water. It's derived, which means it comes from Latin, and Latin is a language. So aqua, when we see words that have aqua in it, we know that it's got to have something to do with water. So I'm going to let me see if I can pick a green or a blue rather for some aqua. And hopefully my pen writes. It's not. I can write it. So the first word, and actually it is a color, not agua, A-Q-U-A, aqua, which means water, marine. And aquamarine is actually the color that I sort of wrote with, which is blue, which reminds us of the water. Literally makes sense. I will underline aqua. Some other words that you may have heard, and this is actually a word I'm sure that this is one that you absolutely have heard. And this word is, I'm actually not going to say it, but there is our Latin root. Aquarium. And so an aquarium is a place where we might have fish and water creatures, living in it. Makes sense because aqua means water. Let me see if I can think of any others. So this next word is used to just describe really anything that has to do with water. So aquatic. So this is a word that you could use to describe alligators are aquatic because they live in the water, And so those are just 3 words that have to do with water, have to do with the Latin root aqua. Nice job. Let's keep moving on. When I saw this word, I love the Marvel movies. I love Captain America and Iron Man and Captain Marvel. And I immediately thought of, if you're familiar with them, Hydra. And Hydra is as an antagonist. They're the bad guy in a ton of the movies. And the logo for Hydra, I believe, is this octopus looking thing. And that makes sense. Hydra, water, octopuses live in water. But so Hydra, just like aqua, Hydr means water. This is also Latin root. And I'm going to go off with probably the word that you definitely know. And this word, let's see if it'll, no, and I'll change it just so it's a little different. Maybe we'll do a little green this time. And this word is hydrate. So if you are in a sports game, if you're exercising, in daily life, you know, every day we need to have at least like 4 glasses of water. So being hydrated, if I want to add it to a D to that, I could. Being hydrated is a great way and a very simple word that makes sense with water and hydra. Some other ones. This word is a white level word, and I know it's very tricky for a lot of our friends. Hydrant. 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 So that little structure that's outside, hopefully you've never seen it in use, but the fire department will come and hook up their trucks to it and their hoses to it so that they can use the water from the town that's underneath the ground to put out any fires that they have. Very nice. Certainly has to do with water. Alrighty. Now we're getting away from the water and we're moving on to the land or the earth. And so this word is Terr. You might also see it as Terra, and I'll use brown this time. If I can find it. Yeah, there we go. That's it. That's good. You might also see it with an A, Terra. It means land, it means earth. I'm trying to think of, there was a really good word. That was it. And this word, just like aquarium, there are actually things called terrariums. And a terrarium, they're actually quite popular now. And this is an A if it is hard. That is an A. So a terrarium, and I will underline Terr. See that A is also there. A terrarium is a little space where creatures could, not necessarily creatures, but like you'll put dirt, you'll put rocks in there, maybe you'll put some moss, some sticks. Some people put like insects in theirs, and other people put like succulents or plants in their terrarium because those are things that we see on land and on the earth. So terrarium. Let me see if I a terrain. You might hear this if you watch like any animal shows or nature shows. They'll say like the terrain is really rough. And when they're talking about terrain, they're talking about the land. So let's say they're driving on the safari or they're driving in Africa or the jungle and their car is bouncing. They have a rough terrain, and that's because the land is bumpy. You know, the terrain in Woodbury, and I live in West Effort, I would say is not incredibly bumpy. It is very smooth because it's all roads. They're all paved roads. So there's no like natural nature earth, unless you're going into the forest and then you're, you know, the bumpiness, the roots from the trees that are shown, you know, absolutely makes sense because that is part of the land or the earth. So words that have Terr or Terra have to do with the land or the earth. Alrighty, let's move up to the moon. So this word luna, I know in Spanish literally means moon. La luna is the moon, and that is because Latin and Greek words, they really helped build so many different languages. And so luna literally translates to moon in Spanish, but in English, luna is a Latin root word that we use to figure out words, as well as to help you know what the word has to do with. So some of the words like a lunar eclipse. Oh, and actually I want to change that. I'm thinking more gray for the moon. So like a lunar eclipse. And I'll just write lunar because it's not a compound word. A lunar eclipse is when like Earth or the sun and the moon, they are in the same path. So it either gets dark or the moon is out and it's only like half. But a lunar eclipse is incredibly fun, but it makes literally complete sense because luna means moon, and it has to do with the moon. It's like a different phase of the moon. There's like a lot of other words. I think lunate means that you are like illuminate, kind of being brought, or sorry, there is light because of the moon. Like the moon is brightening up a space even though it's dark. So words that have to do with luna have to do with moon. Similar to moon, we have now star or Astr. And so we've absolutely seen this Greek root word in other words. The first one, and I honestly think this was, and I actually don't want to use gray. What am I thinking? Going for the yellow. So this word I know was one of our root words when we were learning logy, right? So astrology is the study of the stars. Ba-boom! So that this word literally has logy, which we learned is to study, and astra, which means star, to study stars. Awesome stuff there. You guys have also probably seen astronomy, and this is really, I would say, the real study of stars. Astrology, the first one is like saying that you're an Aquarius, or you are a Cancer, or a Leo. Like, oh, I have these traits because of the stars. If that's something that you believe in, then that is astrology. Astronomy is the actual study of the stars, of the planets, of the moon. So a little bit more scientific. And like I said, all of those words have Astra in them, right? So if you see ASTR, it has something to do with stars. And this is our last one, I was making sure. I actually really liked this one because it reminded me of a book, Stella Luna. And Stella Luna translated to star moon. But Stell, just like ASTR, Astra, means star. So Stell, so there's like literally Stella, right? Which is just the moon, or sorry, just the star. I could say, wow, you're doing a stellar job. I think that's how you spell it. It might be, I think it's stellar. And that means you're doing a great job, a wonderful job. Like, you're a star, right? One of the words that I thought was, I didn't even think of it, I had to look it up, was constellation. So constellations work with astrology because the constellations are the grouping of stars so that you can see like Orion's belt and stuff. So these 6 Greek and Latin root words, right? They all have to do with the land. They have to do with the stars. They have to do with Earth. So a fun grouping of Greek and Latin root words. We have Aqua, Hydr, Terr, Luna, Astr, and Stell. And those are our 6 Greek and Latin root words for this week.